connect. Okay, so we have, oh, here comes Minor. Okay, oops, let's see. Did somebody let him in? Let's see, view.
Sharon, the one you sent is really the best one. It's so succinct.
Okay. Admit.
Isn't that, oh,
Okay.
that's not this?
That is that, yes.
Dick, I don't think it's as succinct as you're remembering.
Well, I'm remembering the screenshot that had like 6 points.
Oh, wait a minute. Now,
Yeah, that's
okay.
just really, it boils it down really nicely.
Just that one screenshot?
Yep.
Yes.
This is
All
too
right.
much.
Yeah,
This-
I must,
this is their whole presentation.
It's
But
the
we
very
can
last
hang on.
one.
hold on a minute. Hold on, because that was sent in a text, but this is it.
Yes.
Right? That's it,
Okay.
right there.
All right.
Okay,
Yes.
can you blow that up?
I always say inflate, not blow up.
Okay, good. So for the roll call, the only climate and environment members that have not joined us are Kyle Davies and Kevin Ranker. So we're now going to go ahead and begin a discussion. And Sharon, you want to just walk us through it of what was said at the county council meeting, and others can chime in who are able to listen.
Okay, well, I'll just say briefly that they brought up a discussion of this position that they wanted to create, which sounded a lot like the position we wanted to create, except it was a little bit different, and it wasn't an elected position, it was an appointed position. And they took 4 votes, all of which passed, the motions carried unanimously, which I have in my notes here. But among them was creating this position, moving, some restructuring of the county departments. Anne Marie, you should mute, honey.
Everybody should mute who's not talking.
Mute when I'm talking. Okay, and they voted then to appoint Kendra Smith as the head of this new department of environment and sustainability or something like that. I have it in my notes here. I will make available to anybody who wants them. Was that anybody want to chime in on that?
Climate and Sustainability Coordinator.
Ah, thank you.
So I think this particular slide views it all very well and lays out what they did. So pulling the department as to a new division. So it's a self-standing division, and then they're hiring the 2 new positions, and then the community advisory committee. So these are all things that we had worked towards. And
so that's Liz, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's not really correct. They didn't make something a division. They took the division and made it a department. Okay?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a lot of what we had worked towards. So I think that part is to be celebrated. It's missing some of the strength that we want, but I wanted to be sure and turn the conversation back over to Anne Marie to see where she wanted to go now that we reviewed this.
Well, go ahead, Dick, and then Sharon.
Well, I was going to say the point, the reason I asked Anne Marie if she could put this up is because it is succinct. It tells everybody what the council did if they weren't already aware of it. And my concern is, I mean, this is what they did. Doesn't matter whether we like it or don't like it. I would really like us not to spend any time on that. We only have an hour, but to focus on our proposed response.
Okay. And Sharon, did you want to say something else related to that?
Yeah, just to take into consideration, as we propose to respond to this, that the point, they could turn around as soon as we disband and say, you know what, we don't like that idea after all, and just cancel the whole thing. I'm not saying that I think they're going to do that, but they could.
Right, and I think what you're talking about is this is not an ordinance. This is they made a motion, and they moved the motion and created this. So what we want to talk about now is what we can do to add more teeth to this. And I think the executive committee yesterday had some discussion about establishing in the charter, the San Juan County Climate and Environment Commission that will ensure that the San Juan County Resolution 2020 on climate change is carried out, including adequate citizen engagement and oversight in the county's efforts to address climate change and protect our natural environment. And Sharon, I think you were able to kind of create a little slide so everybody can see that. Yes, Bob.
I'm going to get that up now.
I have a question because I wasn't aware of the full impact of these actions. And it appears, and maybe this is a question for Kevin, it appears that their action took the Environmental Resources Division and made it a department. That means that the powers and duties and all that responsibilities that were within that department would be the same, within that division rather, would be the same within this new department, but that no other powers, responsibilities and duties are now added to that. My question to people who are more deeply into the minutia of what our suggestion was, is does that cut out any or a lot of the duties and responsibilities we wanted to have this person to have because they were not necessarily within the Environmental Resources Division? And I was asking Kevin, he's got his hand up. So.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand the question, but if Kevin wants to address it, that's fine. Kevin has joined us and Kyle has joined us, so we have the full committee present.
Would it help for me to repeat the question so everyone understands it? I'll try to make it simpler.
Kevin got it?
Okay, well then Kevin will understand, will explain it.
I speak Bob fluently.
Thank you.
I think what you're asking is, did they encapsulate in their proposal, the county council, everything that we were proposing in our committee or our department that we were creating? The answer is pretty much yes, without the autonomy. As someone said to me yesterday, you know, that had watched the hearing, the county council, and I'll probably repeat this again tonight, the county council moved the ball a long way, but let's not spike the ball on the 2-yard line. We're not quite there. And so what they did was they created a department that encapsulates the existing Environmental Resources Division, but also they're talking about adding 2 to 4 new staff with a budget of $313,000. So this is a real commitment. The additional staff, it's a little bit backpedaled from us. What we were suggesting was that enforcement would come over to this division, environmental enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
What they have done is they said they want an environmental inspector who will have the authority to go out and inspect things that are potential violations to the environment, according to our codes or state statute. And then they will make a recommendation to the enforcement division within Community Development and Planning Division department. So they kept those separate. That's the biggest difference. So most of it is there. And I think it's actually, you know, they basically took everything that we proposed and everything that I presented to Councilmember Stevens on last week when I met with him to talk about a potential compromise. They took almost everything and said, let's make it into our own department, but we don't want it to have autonomy. We want it to answer to the county manager, just like any other department. So they took their Environmental Resource Division, they made it a department of its own, still within Public Works as far as location. But it doesn't have the autonomy or the teeth that we were talking about as much, but it's 90% there. All we have to do is push it that last 10%.
So Kevin, the gravamen of what I was asking is, were there duties and responsibilities that were in our proposal that did not already lie within the Environmental Resources Division?
In our proposal, yes. We were saying enforcement would come over entirely for environment.
I got that piece.
And what they said was it'll be an inspector, but the authority for enforcement will still reside within CDPD.
Yeah, in some ways that's better to have a person who's actually responsible for the inspection to go out and do it within that group. But so other than that, there were no major things that we were proposing, that, responsibilities and duties that were not already within the resources.
We had put together a very formal proposal with a lot of detail. They have not done so yet. They had a meeting where they, in simple motion, not by ordinance and without public comment, created this department. That said, I think they got a lot of it right. It's
right.
just,
And the thing that I think Bob is focusing on, if I can just insert here, is the fact that we had identified specific areas in the GMA and in SEPA, and we wanted our person to be able to go in and make comments at that time on those areas. And I think what we'll have to do in the future is kind of be able to go back and see if those things are actually going to happen through the Department of Community Development, who has the authority for GMA and SEPA.
But Anne Marie, we're not going to be doing anything in the future. We're going to be dead. We're going to be dead.
Well, this is kind of what the advisory, the San Juan Climate and Environment Commission would be looking at, I would think.
Good.
I mean, just
thank you.
Yeah, that's where I am anyway. I'm not sure if everybody else is. Okay, are we ready to go ahead and kind of walk through some suggestions that we have? And these suggestions are really to help the Climate and Environment Committee move forward by, we'll have public comment at, I'm going to say 9:45. We need to have a motion and be able to move what we're doing out today so that we can present it tonight to the full charter. Okay?
Dick has his hand up.
Oh, okay, Dick, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I'll wait.
Anybody?
I'll wait. Go
Okay,
go
let me
ahead.
just make sure nobody else has their hand up. Okay, I think we're good. And I see Kyle here. So, okay, Sharon, you want to do a walkthrough?
Sure. Do you want me to read it through? And can you see it okay?
I can see it okay. Does anybody else need more of the details spelled out for them? You want to just everybody look at it?
I think if Sharon wants to walk through it, just generally, and then we can discuss it.
Okay. Well, what we are proposing a new amendment that is includes a lot of what our old amendment had, but it's slightly new now. We want to have this in the charter to make sure that it's a permanent thing. So this would establish San Juan County Climate and Environment Commission. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to continue to use that name, so we can talk about that because that's not the name that the county council is using, right?
Well,
Okay.
It's our amendment.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll get through it, Sharon, and then we can talk.
Okay, we're referencing San Juan County Resolution 20-2020, which was passed last year by the county council, has not been acted on, but it was passed. So it's helpful for us to have a resolution that was passed that we can refer to as justification for our amendment. So we want to make sure that is carried out, and we want to make sure we have citizen engagement and oversight in the county's efforts to address climate change and protect our natural environment. So this is largely what we already had here. I mean, it really is what we already had, to establish a Climate and Environment Citizens Commission to include 7 members, as we had prescribed originally. 5 shall be residents who are registered voters in San Juan County, engaged in green jobs as defined by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay, so these are the 7 positions that we're recommending here. 7 people representing these 7 groups.
Okay.
And I don't think I need to read them through.
Right, you're good on that, yeah.
You want to say at least 5?
No. The youth member, okay, right. The youth member does not need to be a registered voter if under 18. And the Salish Nation or tribal member does not necessarily need to be resident of San Juan County. Okay, so then we're giving this commission oversight over any department in San Juan County responsible for environmental protection and climate change. Or should we say or climate change maybe, but anyway.
yes.
And
And, okay, you got it.
No,
Um,
no, no,
Come
not
back.
and.
We're going to go
Okay.
through it. We're going to go through
Make
it.
notes.
Okay.
Make
Let's
notes.
go
We're
through it.
almost done. Okay. The commission shall serve in a quasi board of directors function, advising the department director at public monthly meetings. So we have good engagement there. The commission shall conduct searches and vet future candidates for director of this department and make a recommendation to the county council for consideration of hiring. And then the last bit, this commission shall, with support from county department staff, develop a climate and environment action plan, conduct monthly public meetings with the director in an oversight role for the department, and release to the public annual updates on the progress on implementing this action plan, including actions taken and not taken by the county departments and elected officials regarding implementation of this action plan.
Okay. Thanks, Sharon. That's great. Okay. Questions, Dick, Bob,
Well,
Kevin.
what I would add is, just so it's clear to everybody, is what we're proposing is everything else we have talked about is gone. This is the sole item in our C&E ballot proposal. And the thinking behind this is because the department does not have the autonomy that we were envisioning, we think it's necessary to have this commission be well spelled out and have a lot of authority in order for the council's proposal to work.
Okay. Kevin and then Bob.
Yeah, a couple things. One is I really like this. I think it's great. I think it's great for a few reasons. One is which is, like I said, the county council made a significant stride yesterday. They didn't get it to the end zone, but they're close. I think this gets us there. This does a few things. First of all, it allows direct citizen input and engagement from our community members into something that is really, really important to our community members. It also allows total transparency, allowing this department to have a direct interaction with the community that in a public process on a regular basis. This is the model that the Land Bank, the San Juan County Land Bank uses. It's also the model that the Northwest Straits Commission uses. Two local entities that are extremely successful in what they do. And so you have citizens vet the candidates when they come in, and they do the search and they do the interviews and so on. And then they make a recommendation to the county council. That's how our land bank works. And that's how this Northwest Straits Commission works. It also, another thing that is great about this proposal is that it adds an ongoing public review and transparency on the work that's actually being done. With this commission doing this, creating this action agenda, and then doing those annual updates will be public. And those annual updates will be able to say to the citizens of San Juan County, here's the incredible work that's happening. And here's some areas where we have yet to be able to accomplish our goal. And that's really important. So the citizens are up to speed. Mike Thomas, our county manager, said to the county council yesterday, we've done some great work. We've not done a good job telling people what we're doing. This ensures that communication takes place, that transparency takes place. I think it's a really solid proposal and moves in the right direction. The one thing I would say is take out the word citizens in the title. I think we call it the Climate Environment Commission. It'll be the San Juan County Climate Environment Commission.
Well, my document just says the charter establishes a San Juan County Climate and Environment Commission. Oh, I see. Where adequate citizen engagement. Well, it should just be resident.
No, in number one, it says establish a Climate Environment Citizens Commission. Take out citizens.
Okay, I must have a different version.
Well, yes, because this was a working copy, and I added everybody's suggestions. So one person requested adding citizens.
So
Okay.
that's fine. I think we need to take out citizens. It gets us caught up in a whole different issue under justice and equity, which I don't.
Okay. Okay, we got you. Bob, did you want to say something?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, when we were putting this together, I know that we looked at the model out of justice and equity about how they were central around a resolution. So we did the same thing here. My problem with that is that it appears the way we've constructed it, that is all that we're looking at. I think it would be there's a simple way around that. The language that we use there up above, in kind of the little preamble there, says to ensure that San Juan County resolution such and such on climate change is carried out, comma, including. So everything after that modifies that what we're doing with that resolution. It shouldn't. It should say on climate change is carried out and to ensure. So it's a second thing. We're doing the thing on climate change, and then we're ensuring adequate citizen engagement and oversight in the county's efforts to address climate change and protect our natural environment.
Okay.
I think that's a good point, Bob.
Good.
So that clarifies it's not just implementing the resolution, it's doing
Right.
it. I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn, Madam Chair.
So if we could take that, include it out there, and then put in and to ensure.
Got it.
I don't know whether we need a comma still in there. Further down, we have the structure here. Do we have somewhere in here that they're appointed by the council? We used to have that, but I didn't see it. It's probably in there, but if it's not in there, it needs to be in there. And did we decide that we don't even need to put terms or anything like that in there?
Right.
How long the people serve or any of that? Because those are issues. Let's let those boil around in the head for a minute. But in addition to that, five shall be residents who are registered voters and who are engaged in green jobs. So
that the green jobs piece is shouldn't be in that sentence.
That's right.
Okay.
So, but that's okay.
Because we take care of that by being specific, right? With the marine resources and salmon recovery and all that. So yes, let's take the green jobs part of it out, because otherwise it's confusing. It sounds like okay.
That doesn't belong there.
I'd just like to make a proposal here. It says 5 shall be residents who are registered voters in San Juan County, period. And then we come down and we name a few. And I think the Salmon Recovery Committee and the lead entity are one and the same. And then that could be 1 shall be a member involved in green jobs as defined by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And that's how we previously had it, I believe, or it should be worded more that way. Yes, Dick, that's the only thing I was going to add. Go.
Yeah, you're on the same track I was going to raise. I think what we ought to do to ensure that things stay the way we're proposing is take that reference to green jobs. That should come afterwards, because if the organization of any of those particular bodies changed, or if for some reason one of them was no longer around, we also want to ensure that 5 of the 7 are engaged in green jobs. So that should be a kind of overriding statement that could come into the list.
Also, a confusing part to me is there's just 5 residents who are registered voters. Do we get to pick and choose? I mean, does that mean 5 have to be and 2 don't? I know that the SJC person doesn't have to be a registered voter in San Juan County, but who is the other person?
The youth. If someone is 16 years old, they're not a registered voter.
But if you just say 5, then that means that person also, when they're 24, they still don't have to be a registered voter.
Yeah, Bob's point is valid. I think we need to make sure that we could probably say that all of them shall be all of them, and then
except
and then have the exception for the tribal member.
Yeah, you could put it simply. You could say, yeah, that's right. What you just said. I'm sorry, you were ahead of me. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think if there are other things. I can't see the rest of it. Can we move it up some?
Kevin, you have your hand up.
Should we move this language first? The green jobs language. Should I move that?
That's what I want to comment on.
Yes, Kevin.
Okay, you guys, we have 7 members. So Bob, your question was answered. The 2 that are not registered voters are the Salish Sea member, the Coast Salish tribal member, and the youth, potentially. Of the remaining 5, 1 is on the Marine Resource Committee, 1 is on the Salmon Recovery Committee, 1 is on the Lead Entity Committee.
Is there a lead entity committee? Do you know that? I think they're the same.
So I don't think we've defined that yet, but my point is this issue of 5 are green jobs is
No.
impossible.
No,
can't
that's why we're not doing that.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's
Yeah,
clear. And
no.
if lead entity is the same as the Salmon Committee, then I thought in the slide yesterday, Kendra had it as 2 separate. We just need to, Sharon, look at your notes. If you want to, can you share your notes quickly?
No, we're not doing that. We're not
Okay,
doing that. We'll have to fix that offline.
Right.
Yeah.
In our other
But if there,
committee, we
Guys,
had a
stop.
special area that
Right.
was for green jobs.
Yes, I get that, Madam Chair. What I'm saying is right now we could define it if we have room. If we have 7 members and there needs to be a lead entity person, there's not room for a separate green jobs person. If there's not a lead entity person, then we can have the green jobs person. That's all I'm trying to say. So we could solve it very quickly by going to that slide, and I'll pull it up while you guys are talking.
we do need to do that. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I
I'm trying to
wasn't-
take notes and make changes and
I wasn't really finished. Number 3, the commission shall serve in a quasi board of directors function. Never, ever, ever get by the prosecuting attorney. Quasi board of directors function is vaguer than vague. Okay. So find something else for us to call it other than a board of directors. A board of directors runs whatever institution it's a board of directors for. It gives orders to and can hire and fire the chief. So let's call it something else. I can't even read the rest of that, but the shall serve.
It says this commission shall serve in a quasi board of directors function, advising the department director at public monthly meetings. The commission shall conduct searches to vet future candidates for director of this department and make recommendations to the county council for consideration of hiring.
Okay.
So
Can we keep all of that? Can
they're
we
going
keep,
to say that they have, we say above, they have oversight.
can we keep all of that you have in there and just take out serve in a quasi board of directors function and just go to the commission shall advise and then take off from there. Put everything in there that's in there after that.
That sounds good to me. Anybody else have a comment on that?
Otherwise, there's trouble
I'm going
ahead.
to say that language on quasi board is in federal statute and state statute regarding this. It doesn't say quasi. It says they will serve as a board of directors or somewhat as a board of directors or something. So
Yes, my comment had 2 parts though, Kevin. The first was quasi, never ever get by the PA. The second is a board of directors. No, that's not what they are. It would be easier for me to live with board of directors without the quasi, but I hope that I would advise that we not put it in there because you're telling what the function is immediately after that, and that's fine. You change advising shall take out serve also shall
So
advise.
With Bob's comments, it would say this commission shall advise the department.
Directors, etc.
Yeah, at public meetings.
And all of that remains.
I just went ahead and made that change.
Okay, great. Bob, did you have anything in 4?
No, I don't think so. That looks good.
We got the plan, we got
I'm
the public
enthused.
meetings.
I'm very glad that we did this. I'm enthused. I think that the overall deal of the council coming on board is very good for us and for the community. It means everyone's on the same page. I think we've made real progress, and something has happened with the county council that I do not believe would have happened without the push from this committee.
Okay, Liz, you have a comment?
So 2 things. One, Madam Chair, I am distressed that we're attempting to do this in such a tight time frame. I think those of us who served on the commission itself, that's, an injustice to. The second thing is I don't see how these 7 members leaves a door open for people who are not associated, community members who are not associated with a nonprofit organization. So when it talks about, public comment and getting the public, I understand those, but those are all people with different focuses. And so the public having access to influence and oversight, I don't see how that door is open here.
Okay, in number 3, we talk about advising the department at monthly meetings, monthly public meetings. And number 4, we talk about conducting monthly public meetings with the director in an oversight role for the department, releasing to the public annual updates. That doesn't do it for you?
No, not at all, because we all know how the public comments come at, this tight time. It's not giving public who are not engaged in another nonprofit focused agenda. Not that those aren't all great focused agendas, but giving the public access when they're not part of a nonprofit. We've closed that door. There's no access for those community members.
Okay, I hear you. Bob, and then Kevin.
Well, the first part of Liz's comment I disagree with. This isn't about keeping doing justice to any member of this committee or members of this committee or even anything about this committee. It's about getting the right piece out here. Now, but the second thing she had to say, I kind of agree with, that it would not hurt to have, instead of this being 7, just take everything we have right here and add 2 members of the public generally. Her comment was, Anne Marie, your comment was certainly correct about the meetings with the public and the public having input through those meetings. But it would be good if there were at least 2 at-large seats for members of the public generally. And those members of the public, they could apply. Isn't there a way to apply for seats on advisory boards and commissions in this county? If there isn't, there should be. But anyway, I would be for adding 2 seats, which I think is what Liz generally was trying to suggest.
Kevin, and then Sharon.
And me, Anne Marie.
Pardon me?
I'll see you guys later.
Dick?
Well, no, I said, I just wanted you to add me to the list. You're not seeing my hand apparently.
Okay. So I had Bob, Kevin. We did Bob, so it's Kevin and Dick, or Sharon and then Dick.
Well, let Dick go in there. I think Dick might have had his hand up before me, so let Dick, I'll go after him.
Go ahead, Dick.
Kevin was next.
But has he
said
gone
was
somewhere?
Going somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh.
he get off, I think.
Okay, I strongly disagree with Liz's point about the public. We want people who are actively engaged in areas related to the climate and environment advising this department, not just those of us in the community who may have strong feelings one way or another. The department can always find ways to invite public comment. I think we need people on that commission who are engaged in this kind of work and who can bring knowledgeable advice based on the work they're doing. The other point I wanted to make goes back to the green jobs. I think Kevin said we need to just get rid of it, and I disagree. The point I was trying to make before is that, Anne Marie, you're raising the point is the lead entity and the well, I think it was Salmon Recovery, are they the same thing? Well, that's an issue, and maybe if in the future one of those bodies changed or ceased to exist, what I would like to see us put in there is language that says something to the effect that if this specific composition changes over time or is no longer viable, that in any event, at least 5 members shall be engaged in green jobs, so that we're always ensuring that if it's not one of these designated groups, then at least it's somebody who's engaged in green jobs.
That is great.
Yeah, that's good.
And I don't have specific wording right now, but I could knock something out.
Yeah, would you send that to me, Dick?
Yeah.
To Sharon?
But we need
Okay.
to do it now, though.
Yeah, we need to do something now. Liz, you
Yeah.
have your hand up again. Does somebody, oh, Sharon, you
Wait,
had your hand up.
I'm next.
Yes, go.
All right. So just on what Liz said before, and Liz will respond. I do disagree with the first part of what she said. This had to be done between yesterday and in time for today's 4 o'clock meeting, so that the full CRC could see this. That was the thinking there. But I do agree. I mean, I personally agree. I would like to see some citizen participation and on the committee if that is appropriate. And I understand if it's not, but the point was well taken by me anyway, because there's a lot of knowledgeable citizens in the county, as we know. One thing I want to point out too that I don't think we've recognized is that if we have among 7 positions that the Coast Salish tribal member is not necessarily a resident of San Juan County, but what if they are? Does it make a difference? Like, do we all of us, if do they become one of the 5, or are that's always going to be, this is a tribal person, this is not one of the other, they're not going to satisfy 2 categories and all of a sudden we have 6 members instead of 7.
Bob, did you want to respond to that?
Sure,
Liz
sure.
has her hand up.
I had that question yesterday, I think it was, in the executive committee. I was concerned about it, and Kevin reassured me that the practice is that when you list these people 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, that they have to be individual. You can't take 3 of these categories and say one person fits them all. All right, you can't do that. Each individual person listed here has to have a face that's different than the person next to them. Okay, has to be a different person. So that's what I've been told. I mean, I just assume that he's correct.
Okay, I think it might be worth revisiting our language just to cover in case one of the persons ends up satisfying 2 categories. If we might want to say, 5 or at least 5 of the 7 shall be a residence, or something like that.
Well, what I had noted was that in that second sentence under number 1, it said members shall be registered, or members shall be residents who are registered voters in San Juan County, period. And then
you have the exception.
Then you have the exception, which is 1 shall be an enrolled member of the Salish nation or tribe who is not necessarily a resident, and 1 shall represent youth 16 to 25 who is active in climate and environmental protection activities. And we have an asterisk that says the youth member need not be registered if under the age of 18. That seems pretty clear to me, but I don't know. If you guys have other issues, give us the wording. Liz, yes, I'm sorry we didn't get back to you faster.
So what did we do with I think, Bob, you referred to them as ad hoc positions for community members? Did that language get added in here somewhere? And Dick, I respectfully disagree with you. If we don't put language in here that shows value for community input, what we're saying is that community input isn't valuable.
I think that's not true, Liz, but
No,
I understand where you're coming from.
So what did we do with the recommendation for ad hoc? Is that going to get added here?
I don't see anybody moving that forward. I don't see anybody moving us from 7 to 9.
Well, she is. Liz
okay,
is.
Are you making a motion, Liz, to do that?
Yeah, so I make a motion that we add a minimum of 2 ad hoc positions for community position places.
And I will tentatively second that motion, but I want everyone to know that I think Dick's counterpoint made sense to me also.
Sharon, can we pull the screen down so we can see the hands for the vote?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hang on one second. I'll do that.
Okay. Is there more discussion on this? Because we need to vote on this. I need to get a motion out of here in a couple minutes for this whole thing. Okay? Yes, Kevin. You're muted, Kevin.
Yeah, so we need to keep in mind, and I'm sorry if I missed this when I had to step away. The Marine Resource Committee, the salmon person, and the lead entity, if they are in fact a third person, are all public at large. Those committees are all appointed by the county council from whoever is interested in these subject matters. So those 3 positions are already public at large. I don't have a problem going to 9 members if that's what people want. I think we need to remember that one of the things, Dick, and maybe you brought this up while I was gone, we want to make sure that the membership of the committee, of the commission, is made up of people who are really passionate about these issues. So, and it can't be that they're all from environmental organizations, for God's sake. We need to have a diversity of the community represented. So we need a builder and so on. And all I would say is that our county council is going to make these appointments. And so they're going to appoint whoever they want to appoint to these positions, regardless of what we say, unless there's a specific thing. So one of them will have to be a youth. One of them will have to be a Coast Salish. So where we can be prescriptive, we were able to narrow who they appoint into making sure that they represent certain fields. But we just need to keep in mind 2 things. First of all, those other 3 positions are public at large, because that's who's appointed to the Marine Resource Committee and those other things. And the other thing is, be careful what you ask for. If it's just open, which that's great, then the county's going to appoint whoever they want. And I think that's a good thing. Go to 9 then.
Okay, so we have a motion right now on the floor and a second to increase this to 9, making 2 positions ad hoc.
Anne Marie, I'm sorry, but given listening to Kevin just now, I'm going to withdraw my second.
Okay, does somebody else want to second this? Kyle? Kyle's going to second it? Okay, can we do a vote? Are we ready to have a vote on this?
I just want to take one more minute to talk about what are the chances that adding these 2 positions could actually weaken rather than strengthen this committee. Liz.
And I would accept a friendly amendment, especially Bob, from, you, the language smith here, in terms of cleaning it up so that we put whatever necessary criteria around those 2 positions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we've had discussion. Are we ready to vote?
Was anybody going to put forward a friendly amendment?
Was that a friendly amendment? Yeah.
I don't hear a friendly amendment.
Did you make one, Liz?
No.
Well, I
Yes, Bob to do one.
I assume somebody else has to make a friendly amendment.
Yeah, you can't do it yourself.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh. Give me. I would make it, but I didn't quite catch the language. Sorry.
I found Kevin's comment.
Yeah, it's to me,
important.
it's ludicrous to be pushing this in the time frame we are. I don't.
We're not there, Liz. That's a totally different issue.
I get that. I'm just putting it on record that.
I got you. We heard you. Yes, Kevin.
Speaking to the time frame quickly, it's not our time.
Kevin, we're not going there right now. Do we have a friendly amendment?
We don't.
Okay, so we're going with what was put forward, was the motion to add 2 and to have them be ad hoc. Okay.
At large, not ad hoc.
At large. Okay. Okay. So all those in favor? 3. Okay. All those opposed?
2, 3.
Sharon, how do you vote?
Tom and Sharon, you didn't vote.
I didn't vote because I was still thinking about it. I'm going to vote in favor.
Okay.
In that case, I'm going to change my vote to in favor.
Okay.
I was flabbergasted by seeing Kevin vote for it after he gave a good reason not to do it. So.
Okay. So the motion moves. We're going to add 2 positions that are going to be
Citizens at large.
they don't have to be citizens, do
I
they?
shouldn't say citizens. I should say
Residents
at
at large.
I abstained. This is Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get the exact vote. I think it ended up being 5 in favor, 1 abstention. What else did we have?
2 opposed.
2 opposed. Okay.
Okay. It is now 8:45 or quarter
Move
to
the,
10.
move the adoption of the
Okay,
proposed amendment as the amendment that we will put forward to be put on the ballot.
okay.
Wait,
do I-
whoa. We
I just
still
wanna
have,
say we're in public comment time now. Just want to point out.
No, we're not. We're gonna just do this right now, and then we're gonna go to public comment.
Okay.
we still have other changes that we talked about that we need to make. And I was asked to draft something and I'm working
Okay.
on it.
Okay,
Yes.
while he does that, could we have public comment,
Okay, we'll
Emery?
go to public comment. Okay, so
Drop
are there
motion.
members of the public that would like to speak now? Just turn your
Mike,
screen on.
I'm going to change your name.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
is there, should you call me? Is there any,
Called upon. You
oh,
just-
sorry.
Michael, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if I was called upon. Okay, so is there any danger that if they can't find enough members to be on this, that the commission won't exist? In other words, if they can't find the 9, if they can only find 8, then somebody, well, this isn't official, so they can't do their job?
We don't usually do back and forth, but I think we can answer that when we go back into the session. Okay. And is it Cassie? Kai?
Kai.
Kai,
Yeah,
go ahead.
hi, thank you. Quick work, and I think you all deserve credit for pushing the needle on this to get the council to kind of do an end run on you. I just want to say with regard to public comment, I understand the MRC and the salmon recovery, that there are a number of advisory boards in the county that work very well. I think for the general public, those presume a level of knowledge and expertise that is critically important to those committees and to the climate committee. But I think the addition of citizen input or resident input as a position is important. There are many people who care very deeply, but may not feel they have the level of expertise or the kind of commitment of being in one of those more vested positions. So I think it is critical right now, particularly as people in the county have just gone through 100-degree temperature days. There's a high level of interest and I think a commitment to do something. So thank you for including that and advancing that. If that doesn't go, if the council doesn't accept that, then I think a bulleted point under the role of the advisory committee that defines a clear access point and invitation for public input in a timely manner before decisions are made in the decision-making and policy building process is another alternative if the council does not go for the 2-position add-on. So thank you for your work. And
Okay, Kai, and we're going to come back to what you just said and clarify that for you when we go back into the meeting. Ben,
Okay.
you have your hand up, and then Michelin, you want to go ahead after him?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben Bama, San Juan Island. Thank you as always for all your dedication and the opportunity to comment in public. And it sure sounds like you folks have been thrown a curveball, and it must be really stressful. I have a couple of comments just based on the things you said today. Again, I would just hope that this position or this committee, it has the ability for as much enforcement and as much autonomy as possible. I know that's the aim of all of you as well. So hopefully you have some sway over what actually happens. I do agree with leaving green jobs in there. It just, you don't want to box yourself in if an organization disappears. So I think that's a good idea. Also, with the number of members, I don't know if you can add, a minimum and a maximum number, again, to leave your option open, a minimum of 7 members, a maximum of 9 members, just an idea. Also, I'm not sure how I feel about having members of the public in on the committee. I think it could be very good, but I would feel you'd need some sort of criteria that would weed out people whose intention are to undermine or disrupt the process, which I think is always a possibility. And I think that if members of the public don't end up being on the advisory committee, there are other ways to get the public involved, whether it's town halls or public meetings. And I think we know that we're all welcome to write you anytime we want. But I do think members of the public on the committee would be good, provided there's a way to filter who is applying. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Good luck. I don't know how you're going to do it, but
Great, Ben.
good luck. And thank you again.
Okay. Michelin, did you want to say something? And then Chom.
Hi, this is Micheline Halliday from San Juan Island. Thank you all for your quick work on this. I'm not exactly grasping it in this, 45 minutes that I've been here, so I commend you for taking a hold of the bull by the horns here. I do have a couple of questions. One is shall be a member, excuse me, I'm reading here, shall be a member of an environmental nonprofit. Do you guys have a definition of what an environmental nonprofit is? Because I'm a little confused about that. And I'm just going to say this, some local nonprofits receive heavy donations from industry, and I really would not like to see that nonprofit be lobbied by industry. So there's that. And then I just want to remind you that we have other emergencies beside the climate emergency, and those are habitat loss, pollution, overdevelopment, looming water crisis, endangered species. And so I feel real strongly about all of those too, not only climate. I just have to say thank you. I really don't have a whole lot to say besides that. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Chom.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to comment. I just wanted to voice my support for earlier comments about trying to root this committee in the public process. I feel, we are trying to create a representative democracy through the makeup of the commission. But because of the changing nature of the environment we live in, we don't know what environmental issues we may need to tackle. It could be fires, it could be water issues and so on. And so I just want to make sure that the whole commission is rooted in a direct democratic process with, full participation and accountability to the public. Not relying so heavily on representation. So that's my comment, and I do appreciate your hard work and also your point about trying to include residents as opposed to citizens, because some of us may not be citizens yet, like myself, but we are deeply concerned about the environment. And so just want to express appreciation for your hard work and thoughtfulness in all this work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chom. Okay, anyone else from the public like to
Just for the record, that was Chom Greason from Lopez.
Right. Okay, good. Thanks, Sharon. Okay. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Okay, not seeing any, I'm going to close public comment. Michael asked the question, what happens if there's not enough people? On the committees that I've served on, there are frequently not enough people, but the number of people there make up the majority. So we have majority vote based on that. And I think this committee would have to push to get more people, through the county council to be appointed. That's the way I would interpret that. Then the second item was Kai saying that if the San Juan County Council doesn't accept this, or doesn't accept that we want 9 instead of 7, and that's not an issue, because if we put this in the charter and the people vote for this to be in the charter, then this is in the charter and the council just has to abide by it. They don't have a yes or no position on that. The third one was, do we want to add language about a minimum of 7 and a maximum of 9? And I have no problem if people would like to add that language. And the other issues that were brought up, I think we just have to kind of assume that greater or better angels will prevail. Anybody else want to add something? I see Dick had his hand up, and then Bob.
I'm raising my hand because I have the language and want to get it in before we finish
Okay.
for the business about. What I would suggest is something like,
Tell us where you are.
oh, well, this is the bit about green jobs.
Okay.
How do we provide for that? And I think it comes at the end of the designated positions, is if any of the designated entities, and let me just read it first, is unable to contribute a member, any replacement shall come from a comparable entity or shall be a person engaged in a green job as defined by, what is it, Bureau of Labor Statistics, whatever that language was.
Yeah, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good
So
to me.
so that we ensure that those 5 members are people who bring some credentials to the party.
Could you read that again, Dick?
Sure. If any of the designated entities above is unable to contribute a member, any replacement shall come from a comparable entity or shall be a person employed in a green job as defined by the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics.
I would have, I think that's really good, except a comparable entity. Once again, I'm now having dealt with the PA's office for a while. We all know how they go. Comparable entity, boom, too vague. But the green job as defined by is right on. Should we maybe just keep it to the green job as defined by? Or do you think comparable entity will fly?
I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, it leaves it open for somebody to define what's a comparable entity. So maybe it's safer to take it out.
You're right, and just leave the green jobs as defined.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to read the new language. Should I wait with that?
Kyle, did you have a comment on the language?
I was going to ask Dick, in his mind, what's a comparable for if a member from MRC doesn't sit or Salmon Recovery doesn't sit, what are the current county comparables?
Well, I'd say currently there are no comparables. I'm thinking if somewhere down the line, one of those entities disappears for some reason or gets their function changes, I don't know. I'm just trying to cover the bases so we make sure that 5 members are bringing that knowledge and experience and expertise to the discussion.
Does the USD, the PCU, the entity you referenced, do they consider quasi-government or government positions in green jobs, or is green jobs all private sector?
I'd have to go back and look at it again. When I looked at it because someone had asked the question about what are green jobs, and I wasn't looking to see if nonprofits and government were in there.
Yeah, it's very broad.
It's very broad.
Very broad.
Okay.
But it is related to promoting environmental protection,
Right.
restoration, habitat restoration, things like that. Go ahead, Sharon.
If we want somebody from an environmental nonprofit, though, I think we should say something like that, or say a nonprofit with a similar mission statement, purpose, vision, something like that.
That's interesting. How about, because we're pressed, can we agree that, or do we agree, is there a majority that language like this, something along the lines I've read and that people are commenting on, I'll do a little more work and we'll have it for the 4 o'clock meeting, because everybody still gets another chance to comment on it then. But it would give me a little bit of time because I think you've raised some good issues.
Anne Marie, don't we have to take a vote on this?
On this language?
On this amendment?
We've got to take a vote on this now, because a large part of this group has to go to another meeting.
Yeah, we have a meeting that started a minute ago.
Let's go with Dick's language.
I think we can have Dick work on it, don't you, Bob? Until that we can agree to let it be worked out a little bit over the next couple hours, and then we're going to go for it.
Do we
Yeah,
want to
well,
open the other meeting 10 minutes early so we can take a vote on it? Don't we need, doesn't this committee need to present to the whole group?
I think we could do this and agree that the intent of what we want is there.
yes, that's what I was proposing, that we agree on the intent that language, I'll refine it a little bit, but this language would be part of the proposal to the full commission. That's what I'm asking, that be included in any motion.
Kevin has his hand up.
Kevin, go ahead.
We need to take a vote now. We cannot do that 10 minutes before because that would not have been advertised. So there needs to be a vote now. Secondly, I just put in the
Okay,
chat.
do I have a motion?
I just put in the chat another caveat that's going to need to be addressed, which is that unfortunately, and I'd ask Megan to look at this too. I just finally got the slide from Kendra. There were there's actually several committees. I just put them in chat, and we want to try and align that. So our membership needs to be revisited too, in my opinion.
So do people have time some other time today?
Not, a couple of us can meet. We cannot have a public meeting. It hasn't been advertised, so the full committee cannot meet. What I would suggest
The
is
full committee isn't a quorum.
it's still, the way we've been operating is that the subcommittees are public meetings, and I think that's appropriate. So some of us can meet and finalize this. I would suggest that as our chair suggested, let's do a vote now on the concept that we have, recognizing that we'll be finalizing some things. A few of us can work on that. I'm happy to volunteer some more time this afternoon. And then we will bring the final to the committee. But I think we should vote on what we have before us, recognizing there will be a couple edits that we'll get to revisit with the full commission this afternoon. But I think we need to move this forward, and a few of us are now 3 minutes late to another meeting.
Yes, Robert.
Can we please add this commission shall appoint its own chair, please? We don't want the council appointing the chair of this commission. And other than that, we can, following what Kevin says, we can now vote on what we have and be prepared with an amendment and an amendment to this amendment, I mean, so that as soon as it comes down, the committee has worked on and suggests these two amendments to this, something like that.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move that we adopt the language that we've all read and my proposed language, with the understanding that is the intent of this committee, and authorize, I'm going to say, Kevin, Anne Marie, and myself, because I drafted this, to work on this and have something prepared that is consistent with the intent and the problem that Kevin just raised, and have that ready for 4 o'clock.
I'll second that, but then I have discussion.
Okay, discussion.
I would ask if there's anybody else who wants to contribute. Let's just not just, yeah. So let's put Liz on that. Is there anybody else?
I've got a dental appointment at 2:50 or 2:30 rather. Depends on when we did it.
I would like to contribute as well, so I'll be on it.
Okay.
Just let me know what time, because I have to change plans.
I was trying to keep it small too, so it would be easy to get people together.
Well, people will be there or not. So we'll pick a time after this meeting, after the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so we've had discussion. Any more discussion?
Was there a second?
Yes.
Yeah, I second it.
This is second
Yeah,
by
that's right.
Liz. Is this related to discussion?
Yes.
Go.
Dick, does your motion include Bob's suggestion that the group appoints their own chair?
Yes.
Okay, then
Yes.
I'm ready to vote.
I
Okay.
have one more thing on discussion. I'm sorry. I want to say that this is a real positive. I think this is a tremendous effort that we've put forward that really, really finishes the work that we've been trying to do. It includes transparency, it includes citizen engagement, and it still pushes the environmental protection and climate action. So I just wanted to end on a positive note that I think this is a tremendous step forward.
Okay, good. I think we all do. That's why we're kind of trying to get the vote. Okay, are we ready to vote? We got the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
How many?
So 1, 2,
3,
3,
4, 5, 6.
4. Liz, are you
Liz,
up?
Mel, are you voting yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
6.
abstaining.
Kyle is abstaining, and Tom
Abstain.
is abstaining.
So that's 6 in favor, 2 abstentions.
Right.
Yeah, 6-0.
Okay. So we will be getting a document back to you so you can see it before we go to the full charter at 4 o'clock. So you'll have a heads up there. Let's try not to change things if we don't have to. Okay. Really, because otherwise you're going to have 18 people rewriting this. Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
So we'll try to keep our act together. We know that the PA is going to come back with more edits for us.
Anytime between noon and 2 is best for me for the other meeting.
Okay, let's say noon.
I gotta run.
Okay, we're on at noon. The meeting is adjourned.
Bob and Sharon, are you available to stay on for a moment?
No, I got to get on the other meeting. I'm sorry.
Okay, Bob.
By the way, I can come in at noon, so.
Okay, so
Perfect.
we're going to do it at
Bob, can you
noon.
stay on now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll get a link out to everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, public. Thanks,
And
everybody.
Kyle, if you're available to stay on, I'm just looking for people in this.
We need unfortunately, Liz, we need the meeting space and link for the next meeting. So,
Okay.
I will, after that meeting, I can call you, connect with Bob.
Yeah, so Bob, I'll call you real quick. Kyle, you're jumping into a meeting right now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's okay. So Bob, I'll give you a call.
Gotcha.
Okay,
10-4.
everybody else good? I'm going to end the meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
Bye. Good work, everybody.
Thank you.